Hope you're all well, hope you can hear me. So I've got some questions here for Miss Hiley. I want to answer now. So the first one is from Charlie, who said, is Weetabix healthy for breakfast? Okay, so Weetabix is, if you have just Weetabix and milk, it's probably going to be better than something like Cocoa Pops or Frosties, something that's just covered in sugar and tastes very, very sweet. But Weetabix is still a processed food. So if you go by my rules, the best foods are the most basic foods. That's real foods. So the best breakfast would be something like oats, where there's just one ingredient, or eggs. There's only one thing in an egg, or wholemeal toast, brown toast. Those tend to be better. But on the scale, you have the sugary cereals, then you've got something like Weetabix, and then you've got the whole foods at the end, the ones I just said, the best of the best, okay? So that's your Weetabix one. Leah, what happens when you eat too many healthy foods? Not much, you get healthy. We don't have a limit on healthy foods, we have a limit on unhealthy foods, okay? If you're talking about what happens if you eat loads and loads and loads and loads of healthy foods, okay, if you overeat on healthy foods, then you're going to face lots of problems of overconsumption. You're going to get bigger and all that kind of thing. But if it's healthy food, it's actually very hard to overeat healthy food because it doesn't have so much calories, so much energy in that food. It's very easy to overeat on Coca-Cola and burgers. It's very difficult to overeat on broccoli and chicken, okay? So don't worry too much about that. Which food group is honey in? Okay, honey is a natural sugar, okay? So you've not got too much to worry about that, only that you don't want to have too much natural sugar, but it's better to have a bit of natural sugar than loads of fake refined sugar, okay? Something that you'd find in cakes and sodas and stuff like that. So a little bit of honey on your oats is actually okay. How many grams of sugar should you have each day, Sarah says? Well, I don't want to give you a number because then you'll go all crazy trying to work out the numbers. This many calories of that, this many grams of that, this many grams of this, and you might do it for a few days and then you get bored of it. So then you'll stop doing it and you might rebound and go the other way. So I'd much rather you just try and eat real food, a little bit of honey when you want something sweet. Don't go crazy with it, okay? And you'll be fine. Sophie, if you only ate fruit, would that be good for you? Probably not. Anything that you have in excess tends to be not very good for you. That's with everything. You don't want to go totally crazy. There's such a thing as a balanced diet, okay? Now there is something called a fruitarian, okay? It's someone who lives just on fruits. So when I said probably not, maybe you can live on it, but I certainly wouldn't say that's a balanced diet. I would like to get loads of vegetables in there, the best things you can eat. They're the kings. Then some fruits, they're the queens. Some meats, okay? If you like chicken or turkey, some fish, just to try and balance your foods out. I think that's a good idea rather than just eating one thing. But there are certainly people who do eat just fruit. How much exercise should you do each day? Ernie, this is Ernie. Ernie or Erin? Ernie. Okay, Ernie, how much should you do each day? It's a very difficult question to answer. When you're young, I think you should do quite a lot. So basically get out there and do as much exercise as you can, okay? You don't need to exercise every day if you're active and you're out and running around. But exercise, how much should you do each day? I think here's the good answer for that. Your body will tell you when you're doing too much. Your body talks to you all the time. When you get hungry, it tells you hungry. When you need to sleep, you feel tired. When you're overtraining, when you exercise too much, you feel sore, okay? So if you're feeling achy and sore in your muscles too much, then you know you're pushing it a bit too hard. A bit of ache's fine, but too much is a bit too much. Safa says, what would a healthy day's food look like? Well, it would look like a day of real food all day, okay? So easy to say, what would a healthy day's food look like? What would an unhealthy day's food look like? Lots of cakes, lots of sweets, lots of candies, lots of chips, lots of fake processed foods, lots of Jack's hydration drinks. Okay, healthy food would be, wake up and have a big glass of water, have some oats or an egg, have some nuts as a snack. For lunch, you could have some salad or a sandwich on brown bread. You could have meat or chicken or fish, something like that. Then you might have a piece of fruit in the afternoon. Then for evening, you might have something, you want a balanced meal. So you might have some brown rice or some potatoes or some wholemeal pasta, something like that. You would have some vegetables, okay? The best vegetables are leafy green vegetables, by the way. So spinach, broccoli, kale, that kind of thing. And maybe some protein, maybe some fish, some meat. That's a good day's food. Kyle, what's worse, sweets and chocolates or McDonald's? Okay, I don't really think there is, you can say this one's worse than the other, because if you eat a load of sweets, it's going to do you no good. If you eat a load of McDonald's, it's going to do you no good. Basically, they're both heavily processed, loads of bad stuff in there, highly chemically oriented, loads of nasty artificial stuff in there, and they never go bad, and it's ingredients that you can't pronounce, and you always see them advertised. So sweets and chocolate or McDonald's, I would probably give both a miss. And if you're going to eat them, try and make it a small part of your life, okay? Once a week, have something small rather than eating them every day. Mahnor, are dried fruits healthy? That's a very good question. Okay, the best, if you go by my rules, you're going to try and eat everything natural, okay? And a natural fruit is fruit as it find it in nature, and it's not dried in real life. So that's when a fruit is at its absolute nutritional best, okay? When you dry the fruit down, you lose some of the nutrition, but you keep the sugar. So you keep the sweetness, which is why we like to eat dried fruits, with the sugar's the bad bit, but you lose some of the nutrition that goes with the sugar, okay? So are they healthy? Well, if you're going to use them, if you're going to have two options, if you have chocolate or dried fruits, yes, the dried fruits are better, okay? But if you want to talk about the healthiest, you should eat a whole piece of fruit, real, and the way it comes from nature, okay? So I hope that's useful to you guys. Miss Hiley will pass these answers on, or maybe you'll be watching this video. If you are, I'd like to say a shout out to all you guys there at King's School, and I hope you're working hard. And remember the basic rules, guys, the rules I taught you. You should eat real food, okay? And how you eat real food, you got to learn the food rules. Good luck, everybody, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.